Hello everyone and welcome to another night of TGP1 Racing. It is the final week of season 41, rounds 19 and 20 that are coming to you from Bahrain and Imola. Bahrain is your bog standard 25% race with your 18-minute qualifying session, and then you've got a one-shot qualifying and a 35% at Imola to round out the season. Going to quickly run down the championship standings now. Softy, of course, has already won the championship. He's on 389. Casper looks fairly safe in second on 239. Cam is fairly safe in third on 192. And then the battle tonight is really for fourth in the championship between Fishy, Jack Hickman and Dan the Man. Covered by 7 points. Fishy top of those on 165. Then we've got Hickman on 159. And then on 158 is Dan the Man. So it'll be very interesting to see how that goes. We've got about 5 minutes left in the qualifying session now. Softy is currently at the top of the standings with a 28.3, 4 tenths over Viva La Merco, and Kai is in third. So joining me in the commentary box tonight is Jack Craig. And how are you doing tonight, Jack?
I'm very well, thank you, and I'm excited to get going for the final rounds of season 41 and F1 23. Jack Kiki and Dan the Man, they've put a late fight in for that battle for fourth place. It'll be interesting to see if they can top Machine Ireland. Obviously did win some Grand Prix earlier on in the season but fell away. Jack Kiki and Dan the Man not quite on pace with Machine Ireland at the moment. He's the last person in the 1 minute 28. Be good to see if anyone can else break that 129 gap.
Yeah, that would be very interesting to see indeed. I think we're just approaching that lull in the session where everyone is going back to the pit lane for their final runs. Like I said, the Softy is top with a 28.3 at the moment, 4 tenths clear of Viva La Marco. Kai in third, Machine Island in fourth, Jack Hickey in fifth. So fourth and fifth for the two of the three guys battling out for the battle for P4 in the championship. Dan the Man a few places back in P8. So, yeah, like I said, we're in that lull in the session. So, what do you think takes to have a good lap round this Bahrain circuit?
Just about the traction zones around here. You've got to be slow in, and it's all about how quick can you get that power planted on the. There's so many slow corners and quick corners, but it's all who has the best technique on the throttle pedal. Softy, as you imagine, in the lead. He's definitely going to be probably the best man around here, but it's one of those tracks where you can lose a lot of time if you're not smooth. And guys, they just need to keep it clean, especially around turns 1 and 2, and especially turn 4. It's all about just getting the throttle down nice and early and avoiding that curb coming up the hill on the right hand side at the end of sector 2, because that has claimed many people's names in that barrier on the right hand side.
It has indeed. It's a very interesting circuit, this 3.3 mile circuit here in Bahrain. 15 corners for the drivers to negotiate. Like I said, drivers are just on their outlaps now, getting ready to go for the final runs in this qualifying session. Softy currently is the top of the tree. Viva La Merco in second, joining him on the front row. So, be interested to see who's going to go out on a flying lap. I think Phil Barger will be the first one to start a flying lap out the guys and go for their final run, as he's just entering turn 13 now. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. You said there's a couple of difficult curves. Traction zones very important around here, as it'll be very interesting to see how these drivers get on in these final runs. Phil will be hoping to improve on his 30.2 down in P13, Jack.
Yeah, it's been a good season for Phil. He's been struggling in recent weeks, but he has been one of the better drivers, of course, this season as he begins his final lap in the penultimate round of this season's TGP1 in the Ferrari. He's been much better than Dom Smith. He'll brake really late, putting all the pressure he can into that brake pedal, and he gets turn 1 done very nicely, clips the curb, and it's not going to be the cleanest sector 1 time from Phil, but it should be enough to put him kind of ahead of his close challenges into turn 4, where you can invalidate your lap if you cannot keep it on the island. Phil does manage to hold on there, and he is improving by 6 tenths of a second as the Ferrari driver. Traffic up ahead, he'll be hoping to avoid that. The Alfa Romeos should move out of his way, but Phil has been very nice bar corner 2 on this lap, so it should be an improvement to try and get him inside the top 10. That's somewhere we'd expect Phil to be battling around. He's had some great battles, especially with the Haas of Lewis Craig. He's going to be starting last. Phil, though, what's his sector 2 split time going to be on one of them only straights with DRS, and probably one of the few places where an overtake is possible? Not much of a chance out of turn 10, but if you get it right and someone else makes a mistake, you can. He avoids that curb on the right hand side that puts him into the wall. He's actually lost a bit of time coming through sector 2, so Phil, to try and challenge Dan Morris and Court Gill for P12, what will it be? Can he get close to them? Into the final corner we go now. It looks pretty good for Phil to at least break in to the top 12. Will it be enough for top 10? No, it won't. He misses out and Johners holds on, and he's still going to move that, and he actually drops into P5, this Johners, making it an all Red Bull 4 and 5.
Meanwhile, we have the soft cop currently on provisional pole. He'd gone purple in sector 1 as he enters turns 9 and 10. Now very tricky, complex of corners here. A little bit of a rear locking going on that Aston Martin, and he heads down to the back straight. DRS is wide open as he heads towards turn 11 now. Needs to get the braking point right, get over on that curb, use as much of the track as possible, and then swing your way through 12 and head towards 13. What's his sector 2 time going to be? Is it up again? Yes, he's a tenth and a half up on his previous best, Jack.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be another pole position lap from the soft cop once more this season, but he's improving on his current time. Can it be a 1:27? That would top off his season. He would be absolutely delighted. He'll open up the DRS, but it's not going to make much of a difference on his time, and it is a 1:28.2. Not quite enough to break into the 27s. Can anyone get even close to that?
Well, Machine Island can't. He invalidated his lap. We're going to ride on board with Kai now. He's coming through turn 11 himself. Can he improve on his current? He's currently 6 tenths down, so he needs a big swing to get for that pole position. And he's actually 2 tenths down, so I don't think that's happening for him. Johners, I think, has finished as well for the session. Is Matt Tibos still on flying lap? Yes, he is. Has he improved? Yes, he has. He's put himself up into 5th on the 28.8. Is there anyone else still on a flying lap? Dom Smith? Yes. No, he's not. So that, I think, is your lot. So Softy claims another pole position in TGP1. Viva Lamarco in second, and Kai rounds out the top 3. So interesting qualifying session, but once again, Softy proving his dominance like he has most of the season, Jack.
Yeah, absolutely. Aston Martin showing why he is the champion. A big shout out to Viva La Merca though. That's P3 and P2 in the last 2 qualifying sessions. So the reserve driver showing some good pace. Not quite enough to catch Softy, but that's kind of no one's game at the moment this season. But Softy picks up another pole. I believe that's 92 or 93 in his TGP1 career, and just showing why he earned this championship this season.
He really is showing why he is the champion this season of season 41. As we are just waiting for the session to end now. We're just waiting for a certain Mr. Dom Smith to retire. Come on, Dom. There we go. As we have the full rundown of the standings on your screen very shortly after this qualifying for round 19 of the season at the Bahrain International Circuit. And here they are, Soft Cop on pole position, 128.2, puts him on pole by nearly 6 tenths over Viva Lamerco in second. Then we got Kai in third, Machine Island in fourth, and Matt Tibos rounding out the top 5 in fifth. Then we got sixth is Dan the Man, 7th is Johners, 8th is Jack Hickey, 9th is Casper, and then 10th is Wet Levens. Then we've got Dan Morris in 11th, Court in 12th, Alistair Bain in 13th, Phil Bardrell in 14th, Dom Smith in 15th, Nell Jack in 16th, Chris Johnson in 17th, New Zealand Cam and Lewis Craig starting at the back of the field. So what are your expectations for this race round here in Bahrain?
Well, I imagine it'll be the straight medium to softs for everyone, bar the guys at the back, Lewis, Craig, and New Zealand Cam. Expect them to start on the softs, get their way up the field as quickly as they can. Obviously, we're not imagining any rain like we did in Monza, so it should be okay for everyone around here. But Softy, he's got the gap in qualifying, he knows his pace, so it should be quite a comfortable win if he can get off the line quickly. He doesn't want to be getting involved in a battle with Speed Kai, who has been quick off the line and has been able to challenge Softy to turn 1 in recent weeks.
Yeah, that would be very interesting to see indeed. So, just the drivers getting their final preparations ready to go for 3.3 miles of this Bahrain International Circuit. It's going to be, about 16, 17 laps up from memory? Can't remember exactly off the top of my head. It's 18. I remembered now. It's 18. 18 laps around this Bahrain International Circuit for the drivers to contend with for round 19 of the season. Only 2 more races to go, and we are getting ready for the penultimate round of this season. As the lights are coming on, we've got 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights on here in Bahrain. And they are away and racing here in Bahrain. And it looks like a solid start from the front from Softy. And he pulls into the lead. Viva Lamerco slots in behind in the AlphaTauri. Potentially looking to the outside through turn 1. And he holds onto it. Side by side in the background of Machine Island and Kai as they sort it out in the battle for 3rd and 4th. But Softy in the lead as they exit turn 3 for the first time, Jack.
Yeah, it was a good start, and Speed Kai is actually going to have a disaster start. Machine Island down the inside of turn 4 it goes, and the Haas of Matt Tibbles looking to make the move as well, but couldn't get it done. Everyone on the medium tyres except the Haas of Lewis Craig who's on the soft. It was a good start for him, Softy. He got away. He just needs to manage his tyres and get out of that DRS's court. Dan the Man, round the outside of Matt Tibbles. What a move this would be from Dan the Man. He's pulled it off. Matt Tibbles had absolutely nothing to defend with. And a great move from Danaman as the Alpines are battling for position as Casper gets back up into P9 there down the inside. That was a nice move.
Yeah, very nice move indeed, as Wet Lemons also had a spin in the background. Unfortunately for him, he's tumbled down to the bottom end of the pecking order, but a great move from Dan the Man. Round the outside into turn number 8, gets the move done, and that hits him up into P5, and that'll help his chances for P4 in the championship with Hickey down in 8th. But Machine Island is up in 3rd, so he'll need to try and get his skates on and get onto the back of him. 1 lap nearly completed out of the 14 here in Bahrain. I eventually got the laps right as it came up on screen, so having to guess on that one from memory. But we see that a few drivers dying into the pit lane, including Matt Tibos, so that's a very early stop for him. Does he have any damage, Jack?
I believe that is damage on the Williams, maybe from the first battle with Machine Ireland to get up into P4. So it's an early stop for Haas. It's going to be onto the hard tyres for him. There's no wing being changed. That's just a strategy call maybe from Matt Tibbles and Haas. We'll see how that pans out. But what we're watching now, Speed Kai is very close to the back Machine Ireland. That is the closest man on track, other than the 2 Ferraris who are swapping positions. Phil finally getting back ahead of Dom. That's needed for his Grand Prix. Casper now got past his teammate. He's past Jack Kickey. Can he get past the second Red Bull Johners? And oh, Dan Morris is in the wall.
Oh dear, Dan Morris in the wall. Where's that? That's the exit of turn number 7. That could potentially be an issue for him. But it looks like he's managed to get himself back onto the circuit. I'm presuming he's lost his front wing without looking. So, yeah, that'll be interesting for him. Meanwhile, Johners and Casper side by side heading towards turn 11 now here in this Grand Prix. Side by side, they're still going to be side by side on the exit. Casper's going to have the inside line through 12, so I think that'll be a position that he'll be fended off for the time being, Casper.
Yeah, he's got to try hold on to that now. Johnner's going to try fight it back. Jack Kickey is the next man in the queue to try get past the McLaren driver, but Jack Kickey not quite got the straight line speed that he would like. And I tell you what, Viva La Merkel is starting to claw in Softy at the front. That gap has gone from 8 tenths down to 4 tenths. So Viva La Merkel, who also sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, maybe looking to put some pressure on Softy for the lead of the Grand Prix.
Yeah, he looks like he's definitely trying to put some pressure on him. The DRS is now open in this Grand Prix as well. So that's going to be a helpful run for him up through turns 3 and 4. His DRS is wide open on that AlphaTauri, not using any overtake to try and get closer to Softy though. Casper's in the wall on the exit of turn number 3. I'm presuming he just clipped the curb, ended up in the wall. Very easy to do on that corner. It's so difficult on traction, that section of corners, to get right. And that is put him in the wall and sent him tumbling down the order. He's down in 17th now.
Yeah, one mistake in that first section of corners and it's going to be a bad run completely. And I tell you what, Lewis Craig, New Zealand Cam, they started 18th and 19th. They're 8th and 11th respectively. So they're making up some good positions. Like we said before the Grand Prix, can Cam get towards that kind of podium spot? If anyone can do it, it would be Cam. He's right on the back of this battle with Jack Hickey and Johners actually. So maybe Cam could be one to watch out for the podium later on. As we get round to the back straight now, Viva La Merkel, he is 6 tenths back on the race leader Softy. Can he challenge him into turn number 1? The ERS battle is kind of similar, so Softy maybe not stretching those mediums as much as he could, maybe just trying to preserve them as long as he can in case there is a battle later on.
Yeah, maybe he's just pacing himself in this Grand Prix. He knows he's got an advantage. If he keeps a decent gap at the front, it won't be too much of an issue. Meanwhile, DRS wide open on the McLaren behind. He's going to look to the inside of Johners in towards turn one. They're wheel bagging. They've touched, and Johners nearly loses it. Somehow keeps it out of the wall, and Jack Hickey is passed, and that was very close racing, if not a bit too close. It was Robbins racing definitely from Johners and Jack Hickey, and Johners definitely was worse off from that.
Yeah, he lost that battle and now he's into the clutches. The Carm's hit him up the backside. Carm's been hit by Court.
Oh, it was a chain reaction effect there. Johners broke, Cam went into the back of him, and then Court went into the back of Cam. And I think Court has definitely got some front wing damage from that. Yes, he has. He's going to go tumbling down the order now. And looking like a good race from Court, it's now gone backwards.
Yeah, he's going to have to get into the box, get a new front wing, get some hard tyres on that car and see how long he can go and get to the end and get some good points. Now, can anyone though get into the battle for the top 10? Because obviously Alistair Bain is going to have so much more pace than Court Gill, and New Zealand Cam as well. He's dropped to the back of this queue, so not what New Zealand Cam needs for his Grand Prix after starting from the back. He's actually coming down the inside of Alistair in a very dangerous place, and Alistair holds on for now.
Oh, okay. That's... Oh no, it's lag. Right, okay. Okay. Lag made that look a lot worse than it actually was. Meanwhile, closest battle on the circuit currently is actually Lewis Craig and Phil Bardwell. The battle for P8. Can the Haas driver make a move on the Ferrari in front of him? The DRS is going to be wide open for both drivers. Caught into the pit lane. Lewis Craig looking to the inside. Down towards turn number one. Phil trying to squeeze him against the wall, but leaving him just enough space, making it difficult for Lewis Craig. And Lewis Craig, unfortunately, cannot get the move done this time round, but he has got another DRS zone to use.
Yep, the Haas driver not got much battery left in the tank. He started at the rear of the field. He's made up 10 places. And once more this season, the man in the Ferrari, Phil Bardwell, is going to be the death of him in front of him, using all of his pace and experience to hold the Haas rookie behind. Lewis Craig, obviously one lap until kind of his pit stop phase area, so maybe Lewis going to try to do the undercut. Obviously the only man go for the soft compound at the beginning of this Grand Prix. But yeah, he's done good. He's holding on to this battle of Phil and Johners. Can he finally get past them on the next couple of laps? Alistair kind of on the back of Dom Smith to try and make a move. Dom not been a great season for the Ferrari driver, but he's got the traction to get out of that zone there ahead of Alistair. And Viva La Merkel, he's done a good job to just hold on to Softy at the moment.
Yeah, he's holding on to Softy. Gaps may fluctuate between about 5 and 8 tenths. He's not really posing a threat to Softy at the moment, but he is sort of lingering around if Softy makes mistakes. Meanwhile, this battle for P7, P8 and P9 is raging on. Phil Bardwell, he is a very old man. He's basically got a walking stick, so it's surprising to see him so far up the grid. It's surprising to see him driving, to be honest. I'm surprised he hasn't had to take another test to come onto the TGP1 grid this Grand Prix, as Lewis Craig will be hoping to pass the much older driver in front of him.
Yep, he will be. And Johners, who was actually in that battle in P7, he is in the pits. He's the first man to box for the soft compounded tyre, so that should allow his teammate to box next lap in Machine Island on the podium at the moment. So can anyone get ahead or make some moves, because this is probably going to be the lap where we see some guys box, because Johners is going to set the chain reaction. Dan Morris and Wet Lemons, two former TGP2 race winners, battling for the final couple of points. Dan Morris picks up P12 for now, but Wet Lemons going to try and make the move back. Casper ahead as well, going to try and make the move on Dom Smith. It's not been a great start to the night for Casper. Obviously had that accident around lap 3 as we have a yellow flag. Wet Lemons is in the wall again. Casper now, he's the closest man to make a move on anyone. He's had a good run on Dom. Dom going to use a bit of the battery to try hold on to it, but Casper got too much straight line speed in that Alpine, and before the braking zone gets up into the top 10. Good move from Casper. Now needs to get the head down, try score some more points.
Yeah, he does indeed. Meanwhile, that battle at the front is getting closer and closer. Is anyone going to make a pit stop this time around? Softy is not in. Viva La Merco not in. Machine Island not in. None of the top 4 have actually pitted, but Dan the Man is in, and so is Jack Hickey behind. That's 5th and 6th, both in the pit lane. They'll be trying to fend off Johners, who could potentially have him on the undercut. Meanwhile, that's Phil in, Lewis Craig in. Basically, everyone's filtered in, bar the top 4 at the moment.
Yeah, the top 4 had about 4.5 seconds worth of a gap to Johners, so they should be okay on the undercut unless Johners has turned into Max Verstappen in that Red Bull. So top four should be okay to box on this or the next lap. But Softy not pulling away. He does have half of his battery left in the back of that Aston Martin, so Softy maybe just needs to watch out for anyone pulling off an undercut later on this lap. I'd probably see the leader peel into the pits this time. But Machine Ireland, he's keeping Viva La Merco honest as well. He's quite close, and Speed Kai doing what he can to try to get back into the DRS of the Machine Ireland and get into that podium battle. Kai obviously had a bit of a bad start, but he's not fallen away completely yet. We might see him challenge for the podium later on in the race as Lewis Craig and Cam are battling for position, and I think Cam's got that job done.
Yeah, they are battling for position indeed. Meanwhile, this front four still pretty much line astern. Kai's actually dropped a little bit back off this group now. I think his tyres are starting to fall off a bit more than the others in front of him, so I expect him to at least be in this lap, if not everyone else as well. We'll see this time around. They're entering the final corner, turn 14. Well, the final proper corner, turn 14. 15 is that little king on the exit. Softy in. Viva La Merco in. Machine Island in. And I'm presuming Kai will be in as well. No, Kai has stayed out, which is a bit strange because he looked like he was struggling for pace. Meanwhile, further back, Dan the Man and Neil Jack are battling. Neil Jack hasn't made a pit stop yet, but he's got Jack Hickey behind him. And Johners has definitely jumped ahead of Phil Bardwell and Cam behind, and he's going to be trying to get onto the back of this battle with Dan the Man and Jack Hickey.
Yeah, he's not as close as he would like as Neil Jack falling down the order yet to make a pit stop. But yeah, he's not as close as he would have liked to the McLaren and the Alfa Romeo, but he needs to get the moves done very quickly. Here comes Cam now, down the inside of Phil Bardwell, showing Lewis how it's done. If he can get the move done, he'll squeeze the Ferrari wide. He takes P9, and that is showing the Haas driver how to get past the veteran of Phil Bardwell. But now Cam, he's going to be the man that has to defend. Phil not got the DRS, so he's not got the straight line speed as he's very close to the rear wing of the Williams, but not close enough. Cam does take that position. Can it be Lewis's turn the next lap?
Yeah, that'll be interesting indeed. I wouldn't say it is, because Lewis is actually a second and a half back now, so he's dropped off a fair bit from that train. Closest battle on the circuit is actually Machine Island, lurking in the background of Merco. He's been sticking around that 4 to 5 tenths mark on the back of Viva La Merco. Same with Viva La Merco sitting about the 7 to 8 tenths off the back of Softy. Just can't quite get close enough to really realistically make a move. I think the DRS is definitely helping Merco out defending from Machine Island, isn't it?
Yep, it's definitely helping him, but he's running the risk of getting out of that gap. That gap is up to 8 tenths. The straight line speed of the AlphaTauri is helping him at the moment. Hold on to that as Kai does come into the pits, so we're going to see him drop to P4 once more. But now Softy leading a good race. This is all he's got to do. He's got to do nothing fancy, have no incidents, and just hold on to the win if he can, as Jan the Man and Jack Hickey swap fastest laps. Jack Hickey now well and truly into that 5/10 gap and the DRS of Dan the Man. Can he get involved in a battle for the top 5?
Well, it could be the top 4 here as Kai coming out of the pit lane. Yes, he's a couple of laps fresher on the tyres, but he's only just come out in front of Dan the Man and Jack Hickey, so he may fall into a battle that he wasn't expecting to be in this Grand Prix.
Yep, he could be under pressure if he can't get his tyres up to temperature quickly. The Williams, though, does have the advantage of this Sector 1 being very tight and twisty in sections, so you do get a bit of temperature into those softs that obviously heat up very quickly. But Dan the Man and Jack Hickey have experience of winning titles. They're going to be right on the back of the Williams, keeping them honest for the whole remaining laps of the Grand Prix. Are they going to be close enough? Not at this section. I tell you who is really close. That's Machine Ireland. That gap is now 3 tenths of a second to Viva La Merco in second.
Yeah, it is. He's definitely close to the back of the AlphaTauri in front of him. But is he going to be able to make a move? Going to ride on board with the Red Bull driver. He's definitely got some overtake being used here at this current time. He's trying to get closer and closer to the back of Viva La Merco and potentially make a move into turn 1. He's run a little bit wide, Viva La Merco, so is this Machine Island's chance? He's going to be right on the back of him, DRS wide open, and he's going to get him well before the DRS end of the braking point. He sets the fastest lap of the race and puts himself up into P2. And can he get onto the back of Softy? That is the real question in this Grand Prix now.
Of course, obviously a Brazilian Grand Prix race winner this season, Machine Ireland. Can he take it to Bahrain as well? Johners, though, who's just been passed by New Zealand Cam is returning the favour. Up the inside he goes, but not quite got the speed to do it. Cam holds on to his position. Johners was wanting to make the move back. Viva La Merca wasn't able to get back ahead of Machine Ireland though on the run down to turn 4 now. It's all about Machine Ireland and Softy. Can he close that gap and try and get as a battle for the race victory? Machine Ireland, he's shown in previous seasons he's got the pace. He's shown this season he can be quick enough to win, but not many people are quick enough to beat the soft cop. Can he do it here at Bahrain? He's not got too much battery to his disposal, but has he got the power? Has he got the concentration to try and get close to Softy in the remaining 5 laps?
That is the question indeed. They're coming around turn 11 and heading towards turn 12 now, so not really a realistic opportunity to make a move until you get down to turn 1, but he wants to be close in that DRS, and he is very close. He's 4.5 tenths behind, 5 tenths behind. He's very much in touch and distance of Softy, but Softy's quite tactical in these situations. He knows when to use his overtake, and he knows how to defend in these kind of situations. As you can see, he's pulling away now, using a bit of overtake. DRS wide open on the Red Bull, but I don't think he's really clawing that much back on the Aston Martin in front of him as they break down towards turn 1, and he is very close to the back of him on the brake. Closes in a lot on the Aston Martin, but good traction again from the Aston Martin in front of him. DRS open on the Red Bull once again. No overtake being used by Machine Island though. He's going to settle in behind, and that is probably his chances gone until he gets down towards turn 11, the next DRS opportunity. But definitely provided a threat in this race. Meanwhile, Dan the Man and Jack Hickey squabbling behind. That is the battle for P5. Speed Kai has eventually pulled away once he got temperature into those tyres. He's now pulled out nearly a 3-second gap. But Jack Hickey has actually overtaken Dan the Man, and he's got himself up into P5.
Yeah, it was a nice move from Jack Hickey. He did what Machine Ireland couldn't. He got nice and close, opened the DRS, and it was done before the braking zone. It was a good move from the former 2-time TGP1 champion. But I tell you who's wanting to make the move. That is Machine Ireland for the lead of the Grand Prix. We're going to have this until the end. He was a bit tactical not making the move into turn 1. I think he could have been a lot closer if he wanted to. Wanted to make the move into turn 4, obviously not giving Softy a chance to retake the lead back straight away. Kind of Leclerc Verstappen-esque battling. But now he is very close. Machine Ireland here, coming to the end of lap 11, the beginning of lap 12. We're going to have 3 laps to go once we start this lap. He's going to be so close to the back of Softy this time. Surely he makes the move into turn 1. He's not going to have an option to be tactical here. He's going to move to the right. Softy doesn't defend it because he knows later in the lap it's going to be where he can strike. And we do have a new race leader. Can this put Viva La Merca back in the action?
Yeah, that is the question. New race leader indeed. Viva La Merca lurking in the background. But Softy is going to try and make the move back again in towards turn number 4. Gets the move done, and he retakes the lead of this Grand Prix. He was a little bit tactical, I would say, there, actually. He let Machine Island have the run into turn 1, knowing he had the opportunity of getting DRS on the run to turn 4. Get the move back again, and he's back into the lead of this Grand Prix.
Yep, Softy knew that he wasn't as far ahead as he was on the previous lap, so didn't even bother defending it, and it was well tactically worked from the Aston Martin Johners. That early pit stop may be costing him. He's now behind Phil, who overtook him into turn number 1 as well on this lap. So Phil, he's managed to get back up into that top 8 squabble, whereas Lewis has kind of fallen down the order on those medium tyres, not at the speed that he's had on the previous laps. But Machine Ireland, though, he's still in the battle for the top place on the podium tonight. Can he get past Softy? You would imagine he'd be able to do it again, but he's that close, it might not matter coming into turn 4.
Yeah, it might not matter indeed, as we see the run down towards turn 14 again. Only 2 more times after this, they will have that opportunity. DRS is going to be open once again on the Red Bull behind, going to look for a move on the soft cop in front of him. Softy not really going overly defensive to begin with. No, he's sticking to the racing line, letting Machine Island have the inside line. He's going to think about trying to get him back on the run towards turn 4. He's going to use that overtake. Yes, he is. He's going to have the DRS wide open. And once again, he's going to have the move back again into the run to turn 4. Gets the move done. Back into the lead of the Grand Prix. Softy goes. Is Machine Island going to try and get him on the exit? No, doesn't quite have the traction, unfortunately. And once again, they've swapped positions. Softy maintains the lead of this Grand Prix.
Softy playing with his food and enjoying it. Machine Ireland Still not able to get the move done. He needs to get the move done into turn number 4. He's tried it twice into turn 1. It's not worked out. He needs to get the head down and realise it's turn 4. That's where to make the move and get it to stick if he wants to have a chance of winning this Grand Prix. Dan the Man dropped behind Jack Hickey. He's not actually managed to get back ahead of Jack Hickey for P5 at the moment. 10 points that those two are desperate for in the battle for P4 in the Drivers' Championship. Johners, though, he's close to the back of Phil. He was passed by Phil a couple of laps ago, now wanting to return the favour. Casper also involved in this battle as well. He's on the back with a couple of time penalties, so it shouldn't really matter where he finishes because he's going to drop behind these guys. Can Johners get back ahead of the Ferrari?
Yeah, that is the real question indeed. As we see once again, the penultimate time, starting the final lap of this race here in Bahrain. Machine Island down the inside, trying to make the move in towards turn 1. There's actually a car coming out the pit lane of Matt Timos. That could potentially cause an issue. And Viva La Merco lurking in the background. We're going to ride on board with Softy. He's a little bit further back than he has been in previous times. Going to have the DRS wide open, and that's Machine Island actually timed this perfection this time around. I think he has. Softy doesn't get him back in the run to turn 4, and Machine Island has now taken the lead of this race. And can he storm off? There's one more DRS opportunity for Softy to get back at the Red Bull driver in front of him as they go through turn 8 and turn 9s shortly.
Yeah, Softy didn't have a great run out of turn 2, and it cost him. He got on the curb a wee bit too much, and that might have cost the Aston Martin the chance at another race win this season. He's going to be close. He's going to have the DRS. He's got plenty of battery to try and use it to get back past, but this is kind of his second to final option. He's only going to be able to have a chance into turn 14 now. Has Machine Ireland, like you said, pulled this off at the perfect time? He was close in P3 to Viva La Merco, who's fallen away, and now it looks to be in the hands of the Red Bull. Can he get a good run out of turn 13? Can he hold on? Can his battery manage to hold on? It's only 3 attempts to go up. Softy going to use
Machine Island's
everything
lights
he
blinking.
can.
His lights blinking, but I think he's going to hold on. He's staying front into turn 14. He's going to get round turn 15. The light is blinking, but it doesn't matter. Machine Island wins the Bahrain Grand Prix. Softy is in second, and Viva La Merco rounds out the podium in third. Kai is going to come home fourth. It's going to be tight between Jack Hickey and Cam behind. That is the battle for 5th and 6th. I don't know where Dan the Man's disappeared off to, but he's dropped down the field. He's out behind Phil Bardrum, having a ding-dong scrap with him. There's going to be a drag race to the line, but Phil Bardrum holds on. Dan the Man in 8th. Johners is going to come home 9th, thanks to a penalty for Casper, as Casper drops down to 11th. But that was a very exciting end to the race. It was a bit of a slow burner. It was a bit of a, I'd say it's very similar to the Kieran bike cycling that you get in the Olympics. It was everyone following around, waiting for their chance, and then bang, it goes off at the end.
A great final couple of laps. The pit stops really spiced it up. Everyone boxing on different laps towards the end. And Machine Ireland, I think that's only his second win of the season, but what a time to pick it up against Softy, the man that's already the champion of season 41. But finally, after so long, Machine Ireland gets back onto the top step of the podium.
He does indeed. Machine Ireland back on the top step of the podium, and that helps him massively in the battle for P4 in the championship against Jack Hickey and Dan the Man, who've had a bit of a ding-dong scrap in the middle of that race, but it ends up being Machine Island being the victor of the Grand Prix and getting a foothold on that 4th place in the championship. So, here are the final results here in, well, we're going to have the spraying of the champagne. Cam gets your driver of the day as the drivers get ready to celebrate their podium here in Bahrain under the lights. So Machine Island steps out onto the podium. He levitates like some Harry Potter thing as he gets ready to take his trophy. I'm not sure what that's about. That's a weird thing I've just witnessed. Defies physics. As we see the Red Bull team celebrating a victory for Machine Island. Softy in second, Viva La Merco in third. Adrian Newey spraying the champagne. He'll be leaving the team at the end of the season, as we will see in real life as we go to the full results now. So, Machine Island wins the championship. I nearly misspoke there. Softy would be very disappointed in that. Wins the race here in Bahrain. Softy is in second, then Viva Mirko in third. Then we've got Kai in fourth, Jack Hickey in fifth, and Cam in sixth. Then we've got Phil Bardrow in seventh, Dan the Man in eighth in the end. John is in ninth, Lewis Craig rounding out the top 10. Alistair Bain in 11th, Kurt in 12th, Casper in 13th, and Dan Morris in 14th, the last of the point scorers. Then we've got Dom Smith in 15th, Nell Jack in 16th, Chris Johnson in 17th, Matty Boss in 18th, and 2 laps down, Wet Lemons rounds out the field. So, interesting Bahrain Grand Prix. Definitely got spicy at the end, but it was the most exciting race from start to finish, was it?
No, the pit stops kind of saved the Grand Prix. It was getting a bit stale towards the middle part of the race, but it picked up towards the end, and we had some great battles, and Softy not coming out on top tonight so far, but he's got 22 laps in Imola to make that right in the season finale. Machine Ireland going to try and pick up 2 wins in a row, and his third of the season will actually put the pressure on the race winner, Machine Ireland, if we can find him in one-shot quali. But now Imola, a very testing track. It's kind of one of those places you can't take your eye off the ball because it's so integral to get some good straight line speed and get some good downforce in the car, because one mishap on the curb and you're saying hello to the wall.
Yeah, you are indeed having a mishap and saying hello to Mr. Wall. Indeed, very interesting circuit. Quite a fun. I do love driving Imola. It's a very fun circuit to drive Imola, but it's not the best for racing in these Formula One modern day Formula One cars because there's only really one overtaking opportunity, and that is down into Tamburello on the end of the very long main straight. So drivers having a little breather between the 2 races here in TGP1, getting ready to go for the final round of the season and the final race on F1 23. 22 laps the drivers are going to have around this Imola circuit, ready to go here. One-shot qualifying to round off this season. So before this final race, any thoughts on how this season has gone headed into the final round?
It's been a great season. It's been fun to watch. I've been here every week seeing the great battles, and I've not been let down by a single race yet. Let's just hope that continues into the 20th and final race. The guys have been so impressive, especially there's a big group of the TGP2 guys of previous seasons. They've shown their class this season. It's a big jump from TGP2 up to TGP1. They've shown they can hang it with the best, especially the likes of Lewis Craig, and Dan Morris has been up there as well, battling Dom Smith for a couple of the higher places at the end of the top 10. But yeah, it's been great all season. Viva Merkel as well. The last few weeks, he's been so quick, picking up some great places. So maybe he will be hoping to get a seat for the start of next season and show everyone his true pace over 20 Grand Prix. And it's all about now, enjoy this last race, enjoy F1 23, because it's probably the last time a few of us are going to be touching it, and just get the head down onto season 42. But yeah, Softy was just a different animal, and people are just going to have to get the head down and try and figure a way to figure that man out. The 7-time world champion. What a record-breaking season this has been. Obviously 7 championships. He broke the pole championship record, so it's just been a wonderful, historic season.
Yes, it has indeed. So, get ready to go for the final round of the season. The countdown has started for the drivers. They've got less than 30 seconds before they drop in to one-shot qualified. You said you wanted to follow Machine Island, so I will try and find him for you, and you can commentate on a lap of the winner from the last time out in Bahrain. So, just getting ready to load in. Just waiting for the final preparations to be made. And we have the one-shot qualifying here at Imola. So get ready to go round this final round of the season. 19 turns of this Imola circuit, 3 miles long in the Emilia-Romagna region of Italy. So F1 will be going there in a couple of weeks' time, and hopefully they'll actually get to race there this year, unlike last year where it was devastated by flooding that area of Italy. So, once I find Machine Fishing, we'll get ready to go for qualifying.
And it doesn't look like qualifying is going to take place in the best of conditions. It's looking dull, it's looking gloomy, so the track temperature is going to be down. So will everyone be able to show that true pace that they have around this wonderful circuit? Obviously 19 turns, as you said. Who is going to master it? Will it be the race winner, Machine Ireland? Or will it be the championship winner, Softy? Or will someone throw up a surprise and steal pole position away? We've got under 10 seconds to go until we begin.
Yeah, not long left in Hiss as we get ready to go for qualified here at the Imola circuit.
Casper calling it a day before we even get going, but Machine Ireland now on the run up into turn number 1. Some lovely straight line speed in the Red Bull that we've known from them. Through turn 1 and 2, it's nice and lovely, not taking too much curb through the first sector. That's what we like to see, not getting any damage. Now this is where you can invalidate your lap through the left, through the right. Take as much curb as you dare into the late braking zone of Tulsa, round the left screaming. The tyres are just screaming for a break round that place in the truck. Now on up the hill, late braking zone, lift off a wee bit, let the car do the work, and down the hill we go again through the right hander. Avoid cutting the corner because you do not want to invalidate your lap at this part of the track. This is where all the hard work gets done, and it's top 5 at the moment as we come into the chicane for Machine Ireland. He invalidates though, the pressure gets to him, and the Williams are showing how it's done. They're both in the top 2.
They are going to ride on board with Softy. He's heading round Ravazza, not looking like the best of sessions for him. He's currently down in P3, gets round Ravazza and comes to the start-finish line. What's his lap time going to be? It is a 1:14.9. I can see it on his steering wheel, which isn't enough. And a lot of drivers actually invalidated in that qualifying session. I think only about 9 drivers actually set a lap time. So, very much the issue indeed. Machine Fishing commented saying it was commentator's curse why he invalidated that lap. But here are the full results from that qualifying session. Kai is on pole with Softcop in second. Then we've got Cam in third, Dan the man in fourth, and Alistair rounding out the top 5. Matt Tibos in sixth. Then we've got Wet Lemons in seventh, Dom Smith up in eighth, and Court in ninth. And we got the invalidated lap times of Casper, Jonas, Chris Johnson, Lewis Craig, Viva Lamerco, Machine Island, Dan Morris, Jack Hickey, Phil Bargell, and Neljak, all invalidated. So half the field didn't even get a lap time in that one-shot qualifying. So it'll be a very higgledy-piggledy grid, and it'll be very interesting to see how those drivers come through the field. So it's going to be an interesting race. I don't know what the weather conditions are going to be, so that could make it interesting as well. It's been prone to rain here at Imola in the past.
I mean, maybe a wee bit of tactics there from the likes of Casper and Johners. Casper retired before we even got going in the session, so maybe he knew he was going to invalidate and the others would struggle, and that put him up the grid retiring before we got to the start-finish line. I'm sure a few guys ain't going to be happy with that as we get to the end of the race, but it looks nice, it looks sunny in Imola, so it doesn't look like the emergency ponchos are going to be used at the beginning of the Grand Prix.
No, definitely no ponchos being used here today. It looks like a lovely day in the Emilia-Romagna region of Italy for the final round of TGP1 Season 41, the final race on F123, as the drivers are getting ready to go, making their preparations, their strategy calls here for the final round of the season.
The final round of what a wonderful historic season it has been. Who is going to take victory on the final night?
4 lights are on, 5 lights are on here in Imola. The drivers are off and they're away, and it looks like a strong start from Kai at the front, but he's going to be side by side with Softy. Court has jumped the start, unfortunately for him, so that is a bit of a disaster for him as they filter on their way down to Tamburello for the first time. Kai into the lead, Softy in second, Cam in third, Dan the man in fourth, and Wet Lemons up into fifth. Very strong start, but I think he jumped the start as well, so they'll be both having to serve a penalty as we see them filter their way through the Villeneuve chicane and head towards Tosa for the first time.
Yeah, a great start for some of the guys at the top of the grid, but Lem is in court. They got a good qualifying, but guys disconnect, invalidating, and it's all gone for nothing. The drive-through penalties coming their way. The top four all on the medium tyres. Wet Lemons is the first man on the hard, so it's not going to matter come the end of his drive-through penalty. Kai, he did what he needed to do. He held on to the lead of the Grand Prix. Now he needs his teammate to do his bit and get past Softy, so it's a Williams 1-2. Will Softy, no DRS, obviously this time, have the straight line speed. Imola, the straight line speed is so good here, especially on that start-finish straight. If you get the move done before the braking zone, you're sailing away. As Casper getting the move done on Alistair for P7, round the outside he goes, and that is up into P7 for the Alpine. But now, can Softy get past Kai for the lead of the Grand Prix? We'll go on board and see. Look at the closing speed of the Aston Martin.
It's going to be Softy looking to the outside and riding on board Cam. Cam's actually gone down the inside of Softy, and Tamburello going to be wheel to wheel through Tamburello and just about hold on, a little bit of contact on the exit, and that is Cam off wide, losing places, down to fourth. There's actually a bit of a gap as Dan the Man is up into third, and he's right on the tail of this, and I'm not sure what happened behind, because there was a fair bit of a gap back to Cam. Cam, even with the mistakes, ended up dropping back into fourth and only losing a place from that.
Yeah, there was a bit of a gap to the guys battling behind. They weren't as quick as the top four at the beginning of the race. Cam just had no downforce coming out of turn 3. He had no time to get the car settled, and he just managed to keep out the wall and cost us a safety car, because we do not want to be watching the safety car for this Grand Prix the whole time. And I tell you what, Lewis Craig, he's up on the back of his teammate. Matt Tibbles is on the hard tyres. Lewis has had a good start from the back of the grid, under pressure from Dom. Can Softy, though, this time, he did have great closing speed on Speed Kai, but when we got to the corner, Kai was very late on the brakes and managed to hold on. Dan the Man, he's going to want to hold on to this battle as well.
Yeah, he'll be wanting to linger on in the background. Meanwhile, it's closing, the gap is closing. Softy looking further behind. Of course, no DRS yet in this Grand Prix either. He's not quite close enough to make a run into Tamburello this time round without the DRS. But next time, he'll have the helping of DRS on that main straight, and surely that'll be enough for him to get past the Williams driver in front of him.
Yeah, you'd imagine that would be enough. Moves further back. Jack Hickey on the back of Lewis Craig, putting pressure on the Haas driver, who's just been passed by Dom Smith. He'll be hoping that wasn't caught on the stream. Will the Haas driver? Can he get the move back down on Dom? Under pressure though from Jack Hickey, and Jack Hickey now coming up the hill side by side with the Haas. They go. It should be a slam dunk for Jack Hickey. There he goes down the inside. Lewis has nothing to answer with, and now it's Jack Hickey's turn to try to get past Dom.
Yeah, it is. There's a bit of a queue forming in various places around the field, as you can see. I think that mixed up qualifying has helped out. Casper's had a very strong start in these opening laps. Started P10, he's got himself up into P5, and he's closing in on the back of Cam. But meanwhile, Softy in the Aston Martin, going round Ravazza for the third time in this Grand Prix. Going to have the DRS this time round. He's got the overtake on as well, and surely he's going to be able to get the move done on Kai. He's heading down the main straight. Kai's going to push him. They've touched, and Softy spun. Softy has spun round. He's round he goes, spinning like a record baby, and he's down into 5th place, 6th place, 7th place. He's tumbled down the order, and he's got all that work to do again. Bit of contact. It was a little bit aggressive from Kai as the corner kicked. He kind of straightened up the wheel, but it was kind of fair. It was fair racing. He didn't force him off the circuit. He left him a car's whip, and Softy just drove into the side of him and spun round.
Yeah, I don't think Softy's going to be too happy with that when we get back to the stewards room, and he's dropping down even further. Softy, I think he's off again.
He's out. He's out of this race. He's retired from this Grand Prix, and that is a virtual safety car for the drivers to put up with. So it'll be interesting to see if anyone peels into the pit lane under this virtual safety car.
Not really worth it at this stage. The hards and the mediums will both be screaming come the end. Not kind of worth ruining your track position, I'd imagine, yet, but this is doing wonders for Kai at the front. He's used this to try and break that DRS to Dan the Man. It's 1 second that gap now. It was a bit closer than that previously before the VSC came out. But I tell you what, Cam and Casper, they're not far behind this battle. We could have a 4-way battle for the win of this Grand Prix.
Yeah, we could do indeed. These front four have kind of escaped from everyone else. Alistair's about 5 seconds back from this battle. He's in P5, and then we got the queue of cars behind. As we go back racing again, the DRS has been re-enabled in this Grand Prix as we head towards the Villeneuve chicane, and the top four pretty much in the same camera shot.
Yeah, and I tell you what, the VASC ending there absolutely ruined Viva La Merkel. He had no chance of holding on to his position with Johners behind. Johners had such a great run with the DRS as well, and he got up into P11. And Calm, he's right on the battle. After having that moment, no damage on that Williams clearly, he's going to look to put the pressure on Dan the Man, and then his teammate Speed Kai. Williams, no team order is going to be done there. Both of these guys are going to want to win the race. And Calm, obviously the defending champion last season, wasn't able to hold on to his crown. He'll want to go out with a bang.
Yeah, he will do as he goes through the Variante Outer, heads towards the Ravazza final couple of corners here at this Imola circuit. He's not going to make a move in there because he knows it's a very long DRS straight here at Imola, and all you have to do is get the toe and hope you've got enough overtake to make it stick even with the toe. DRS wide open on the Alfa Romeo in front as well as the Williams. He's going to be pushing, looking to the outside towards Tamburello. They're side by side. I think some overtake is being used by the Alfa Romeo. Is he going to get the move done? Try and holds it round the outside. Yes, he does. Brakes later than the Alfa Romeo behind, and he slots it in front, and now it's a Williams 1-2. But damn, the man will be hoping to bite back at the Williams in front of him.
Yep, he will. He's got so much battery. He's got 90%. Calm has literally 0. So it should be a slam dunk if Dan the Man can stay close enough. Johners has passed Lewis Craig. Neiljack has passed Viva La Merkel in the background as well. So guys making up good positions at the back end of the field now. Casper, he's into the DRS of Dan the Man. Can he challenge for that podium place? And now Kai going to have to hold on to the lead against his teammate. He'll be hoping Dan the Man can try and force a move against Cam and avoid having to battle and defend his lead of the Grand Prix at the moment.
He will indeed. So Kai, is he going to try and make a move on his teammate? It's a Williams 1-2 currently in this race. Alfa Romeo third, Alpine in fourth. That is your top four, and they're all pretty much covered by a blanket. As we see, Dan the Man is actually very close to the back of Cav. He could see the blinking light on the back of that Williams. He has got plenty of ERS to use. He's got DRS as well. He's going to go to the outside. Is he going to go for the lead as well? Yes, he is. He's flying past both the Williams in one straight. Cam gets the move done on Kai. So Kai, who was leading at the start of that straight, back down to third. Dan the Man into the lead.
What a move that was from Dan the Man, showing the Williams how it is done. The straight line speed he had was so good. Can he hold on to that lead now? As we come on to lap number 7, Casper, he's right on the back of this as well. So you could literally lead on the final straight and end up in 4th if the guys further back have the speed to get up into the lead. Dan the Man though, the Alfa Romeo leads the Grand Prix. First time this season he's managed to lead. Can he hang on? The guys behind though, not going to give it up without a fight. Cam has no battery to play with, but that natural ability that he's got allows him to battle the likes of these guys. He's going to have to watch out for his teammate behind though. Obviously the speed in that third place on the previous lap was where you wanted to be.
Yeah, it is indeed. Kai is going to have a fair bit of ERS to use as well. Cam is a little bit shaky on the ERS, but he's going to have DRS helping. So Dan the Man in the lead, going around the Ravazzas onto the main straight to start lap number 8 of this Grand Prix. A bit of a slide there from Casper as well. Going to ride on board with the Williams driver. He's got the DRS, he's got the ERS. He's past the Williams of his teammate. Can he get close to the back of Dan the Man? Dan the Man kind of sees it coming, lets him go around the outside. Is he going to get passed by the other Williams as well? They're side by side through Tamburello, and Dan the Man just about hangs onto it. Very sketchy moment for the Alfa Romeo driver. Just about hangs onto the car, loses a fair bit of ground to the Williams in front of him. Meanwhile, Cam has gone off. Cam has actually gone off. Kai is now back into the lead of the race. Dan the Man back up to second, and Casper's now up into third, so he's gained from all that. As he's side by side with the Alpine, heading towards the Peritella corner. Is he going to be able to keep the position? Yes, he does. Casper keeps the position, but now that is all changed in the blink of an eye.
There's actually Kai as well who went off. Cam leads the Grand Prix, so the leader Kai, who looked clear and head of his teammate, now back at the battle, and they're 2.2 behind the former 2GP1 champion Cam. Now it is his race to lose. He's had a few races this season where he's not being consistent and cost himself. Can he hang on? But these guys now, the battle for second is well and truly on, and these guys are going to go until the end of this race.
They are going to go until the end of this Grand Prix, indeed. Meanwhile, Cam pulled out a 2.5 second lead, but the battle is still on. Casper, DRS wide open. Urs on the attack, gets the move done. Can Kai make the same move behind? Yes, he does. He's back past Dan the Man. Dan the Man's dropped back to fourth. Casper up to second. Kai up into third. As it's all changed up the front, and they are closing in on that group in front. That group in front, Cam in front. They closed about half a second on that straight.
Yeah, the straight line speed they're going to have over Cam, who's obviously not got any DRS to battle with. Going to allow them to get closer on the main straight. The Red Bulls have swapped positions. Machine Island not got the pace like he did in the previous Grand Prix. Matt Tibbles, though, he's doing a good job in P6 on those hard tyres. He'll be one to watch out for at the podium battle come the end of the Grand Prix. He'll be on quicker tyres than everyone else. Alistair, though, doing a good job in fifth as well. He's kind of not gaining, but he's not losing any time to the top four battle.
No, he's not. He's just about hanging on, about 4.5 seconds back from this lead group. And he's got a comfortable buffer over Matt Tibos in sixth. So it looks like a decent day for the AlphaTauri driver of Alistair. Meanwhile, we're going to have another attempt at this brewing battle. Kai is 3 tenths behind Casper going around the Ravazza. He's going to have the DRS and he's going to have hers to use on the Alpine driver in front of him. DRS wide open on that Williams. Is he going to make a move on the run down to Tamburello? Yes, he does. Gets the move done. Gets back past the Alpine and is back to being a Williams 1-2 at the front. Dan the Man weren't quite close enough to do any trouble either driver in front that time, and he stays in P4.
Yeah, not what Dan the Man needed at the moment. He wanted to get back into the battle for the podium, not quite close enough. And we're kind of coming to that phase in the Grand Prix where pit stops for the medium runners and the softs are going to be happening in the next few laps. Who is going to be the first man to bite? Will Cam allow his teammate, who seems to be involved in this battle, pit first, as he has a bit of a buffer? If it was me, I wouldn't want to be giving up the lead to an undercut, so Cam might need to come into the next couple of laps to let Kai box as well.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting strategy call on the Williams pit. We're all running 1-2, and Casper's got 3-second time penalty, which could be a bit of a disaster for him at the end of this Grand Prix. But he is lingering in that P3. He'd have to pass Kai and make the gap to see if that can help him out. Cam's got a 2.5 second lead, not pitting this time around. I can see in front Alpine of Casper gonna have the DRS, and Kai and Casper look like they're going to swap positions yet again in this race. Yes, they have. Casper up into P2, Kai back down to P3. Dan the Man still lurking in the background. That is for fourth. Alistair's fifth. Matt Tivos in sixth. Then we've got Jack Hickey in seventh. John is in eighth. Sheen in ninth. And Dom Smith out of a solid run in 10th place.
Yeah, Matt Tibbles had a moment coming out the final corner, and that's allowed Jack Hickey to sneak into his DRS. So maybe those hard tyres not providing the grip that Matt would like, and that could allow the McLaren to get back into the battle for the top 6.
Yeah, it could do indeed. Machine Island picks up a time penalty. That's a 3-second penalty. That dropping behind Don Smith as it stands in this Grand Prix. Kai all over the back of Casper through this middle sector. Through Aqua Minerale they go. And heading towards the Varianti Outer. This is 14 and 15 on the track map, but the corner name is the Varianti Outer. As we see Casper getting a bit squirrely on the exit there. It is Alpine. He's actually going to have a run. Is he going to be able to make the move before the chicane? He probably should think better of it, knowing the DRS and the long DRS you get down that main straight, and he doesn't make a move into the Ravazza, and is going to have the DRS once again on the Alpine. They're going to swap positions most likely down this main straight, because that's the way it's been going in this Grand Prix. Heads towards the outside. Going to be side by side in towards Tamburello. No, they're not. Gets the move done. Kai back in the second. Casper Dak down to third.
Yeah, flopping and changing every time we begin a new lap are the Williams and the Alpine. It's all about who bites first, who boxes and picks up those soft tyres. They're going to last about 10 laps, the softs, so it could be in the next lap or two we see some guys pits as the Red Bulls swap positions once more. Machine Island getting back ahead of his teammate Johners, but now Jack Hickey seems to be a lot closer than he has been to Matt Tibbles in previous laps.
He has indeed, but there's no one really to overtake in this middle portion of the lap. You have to, pretty much all the overtaking's done on this circuit in the run down to Tamburello, unless you're doing some form of multi-class racing, which we're not today.
Oh, and Calm's picked up a penalty.
Cam has picked up a penalty, and that is crucial indeed. He is 2.7 in the lead, so he just needs to extend that buffer a little bit more. Casper looking to the inside. Is he going to make the move into the Ravazza? Yes, he does. Gets the move done up into P2, but surely Kai's going to get him straight back unless he's boxing this time round. No, they're not. Lewis Craig picks up a time penalty as well. He actually did it in the perfect place because he's got the DRS, and Dan the Man's going to be past Kai as well. Dan the Man up into P3, Casper P2. Kai dropped down to 4th place, and he timed that beautifully, Casper, getting the DRS down that main straight, just being behind at the detection point, but getting the move done in the Ravazza.
Yeah, it was lovely from Casper, and then he allowed Dan the Man to sneak through as well. Jack Hickey is now past Matt Tibbles and get his foot down and try and catch Alistair before the pit stops. But what a strategy call it was. Tactical call it was from Casper to get up into P2. Now, can he hang on and get clear of these guys? These the top two have 3-second time penalties, so they need to get the foot down and try get clear. I need to stop talking about Cam when he's in the lead of races, because I swear I've cost him about 4 this season.
Well, as it stands, he would be winning the Grand Prix because the guy behind's got a 3-second time penalty, and Dan the Man's just not within 3 seconds of Cam, so that won't be an issue for them. Dan's probably main aim is try and keep within the 2.5, keep within the 3 seconds of Casper. Is anyone going to make a pit stop this time round? Cam in the lead of this race. No, he stays out. Casper stays out. Dan the Man stays out. Kai stays out. No one's really making any pit stops. They're going very long in this race, aren't they?
Yeah, they want the softs to be in the best condition they possibly can be, especially when you're battling for lead of the race at the front. And Casper held on that time to from Dan the Man. He wasn't able to get past Dan, and he needs to try and get past because he is 2.5 behind Cam. So if he can get past Casper, he might be able to snick this race win as we get to the end in the middle way through lap 14. Can anyone get close enough to Cam to steal this race win away from him? And Jack Hickey was able to hold on from Matt Tibos on the rerun of their battle, so Jack Hickey looks like he's well and truly settled into 6th place. He's up 11 positions off his race book start, so it's been a great start from Jack Hickey. He may have been up there for the win if it wasn't for the terrible qualifying.
Yeah, it would be indeed. Poor qualifying from a lot of drivers, very mixed up grid, as a lot of people invalidating their lap times in that qualifying session. Yes, it is. That's why the drivers are staying out. They were hoping for the rain to fall, and the rain has started falling at Imola. How heavy is it going to be, and will they be switching onto the inter tyres? That is the real question in this Grand Prix. We'll soon see if everyone's going to dive into the pit lane. I think it's a bit early to go for it now. It's only just started raining. Normally when the spray starts getting kicked up is your time to shine and jump onto those inter tyres.
The Red Bull's in of Machine Ireland, so he is going to be a tester for everyone. Get some data on the pit walls. It's going to be intermediate tyres.
I think that's a bit early. My personal opinion would be that's too early. Maybe his mediums were just completely shot. He's had no choice, but I think that is too early to be pitting for those intermediate tyres, personally.
Well, it's going to have a lap to find out. Are the leaders?
Oh,
and
Casper's round! Casper, no, well, he had a massive slide, didn't actually, but he had a massive slide coming out of Piratella, and that must have gave him an absolute brown streak on his pants. He's going to need some new trousers when he pits for his inter tyres, most likely. My God, how did he not bin it?
Well, the Alpine washing lady is going to have a tough task on her hands after this Grand Prix, but it's all about Dan the Man now. Are the guys going to stop for the intermediates? It doesn't look quite wet enough, but the guys are struggling for grip, and Dan the Man is the first man in.
Dan the Man is the first man in. Is he going to jump onto those intermediate tyres? I would assume so. Machine Fishy is on to those tyres as well. Yes, he is. So it'll be very interesting. He doesn't look like his pace is that great at the moment, Machine Fishy. So I think it's still a bit early for those tyres. Meanwhile, Casper has actually dropped a place to Kai while we're watching Dan the Man go onto those inter tyres, but they are starting to struggle for grip now, these drivers. But I still don't think it's quite early enough to go onto those intermediates yet. It's a little bit too early.
It might be a bit too early, but someone that can't get it back. Dan the Man, oh, safety car, if you've stopped. Oh no, this could have changed the Grand Prix completely. And the guys that have the time penalties are going to have such a tough task getting ahead and clearing the wet conditions. And the guys that are stopping now might be okay, but this is going to absolutely ruin the chance for the win for Dan the Man. He's 35 seconds adrift, and he's just going to come out behind this. This is going to work out well for Phil, who's going to be in fourth at the end of his pit stop. But obviously he's got a time penalty come the end of the race.
He'll gain a couple of positions looking at the intervals. He's 8.5 ahead of Dan the Man and 6.5 ahead of Alistair. He'll probably come in about... He's definitely going to gain because he's going to come out probably in that Alistair-Matt Tibos battle as Cam jumps into the pit lane and presumably jumps onto those intermediate tyres. There's going to be a queue in the pit lane as well as Kai is going to be queuing in that Williams pit box most likely. They're going to be both going onto those intermediate tyres, which could help out Casper here, as Casper could jump the guys. As we see, pit stop done. How quick are they going to turn it around at Williams? They're a little bit slow, and I think that's going to be just enough for him to be overtaken by Casper. Yes, it is. Casper jumps Kai in the pit stops thanks to the slow double stack at Williams. They've all gone onto the inters, and now I will admit it is time to put those intermediate tyres on, looking at the track conditions as well. That safety car came at the perfect time to put intermediate tyres on.
It absolutely did, and I tell you who it's absolutely helped, Phil Barger. He was nowhere in this race. He did drop behind Dan the Man and Matt Tibos and Jack Hickey, but he's not going to lose as many as positions as he would have thought. Cam the pit stop. Alistair's re-pitting, so he must have had damage.
He's actually about where he was beforehand. After the pit stops, he's come out about where he was. He's not really lost out. He's not really gained either. I think he's gained maybe a place because actually he would have gained a place thanks to Dan Morris being in it. So yeah, he's come out about where he was actually. So not really the helping he was probably hoping for from that safety car, Phil Bardrell.
And Cam and Casper with their time penalties. This is not going to help them. This could put the race in the favour of Kai, Dan the Man, Matt Tibble,
bloody hell, Cam.
Jack Hickey behind.
Cam nearly lost it in Aqua Minerale behind the safety car.
Did Ericsson hit us, maybe getting called down the microphone in the Williams cockpit? But those time penalties, that could cost these guys who have had this happen before, where they pick up penalties and it costs them wins and podiums. Is it going to strike again here at the final Grand Prix? It would be a disaster. Cam's been wanting to win a race. He's not won a race since Silverstone, and it's just been getting away from him. Like at Spa where he had the crash, like at Canada where he picked up the penalty. It's just not gone his way since the the British Grand Prix.
Well, as they say, if you don't want the time, don't do the crime, as those drivers with penalties have been hurt by this safety car. This is going to impact their race results come the end of the Grand Prix. Not track position at the moment, but definitely going to impact how they finish in this Grand Prix. Cam's just going to have to try and bolt on those intermediates. It's going to be, what, about 4 laps once the drivers get going in this Grand Prix, because I presume the safety car will probably peel into the pit lane this time round.
Yeah, if it allows the likes of Court Gill and Lewis Craig to catch up, it might just go without the Haas being at the battle of the park because he's so far behind. Not been a good race for Court and Lewis and company, but it's all about the front. The safety car out again in one of these 35% Grand Prix. Oh, it didn't come out for Softy, but it did come out for Dan Morris. I think Dan Morris had a bit of a very impactful crash, so that has cost him a chance at good points. He was in a good position in the top 10. The Red Bulls, though, they're 7th and 8th, and with the time penalty for Machine Ireland, maybe he'll let Johners go and try to pick up some more points for the team.
Yeah, that is what they'll be hoping for indeed. So Cam leads the race, Casper is in 2nd, Kai is in 3rd, then we've got Dan the Man in 4th, Matt Tibos in 5th, Jack Hickey in 6th, Machine Island 7th, John is 8th, Dom Smith 9th, Phil Bardrill rounding out the top 10. Wet Lemons in 11th, Chris Johnson 12th, Neiljack 13th. Alistair's the big loser from that safety car coming out, as he's all the way down in 14th position now. Viva Lamerco 15th, Court in 16th, Lewis Craig in 17th, and the safety car is in this time round.
I think Alistair actually had a speeding penalty, so he boxed again to get rid of it.
Okay.
I think that's what Alistair did, and that's cost him obviously a big chunk of position.
Yeah, so as you can see, Cam getting ready to go to restart this Grand Prix, letting the safety car bolt off into the distance here, heading towards the Ravazza for the 18th time in this Grand Prix. There's going to be 4 laps to go after this safety car period finishes. As we see, the Cam has bolted. Here's away in the Williams. Casper behind is going to be under pressure from Kai by the looks of it on the run down turn 1. There's a yellow flag further down the field as we see them head towards Tamburello once again in this Grand Prix. The front 4 are still line astern and no real overtaking done there. Kai looking to the outside of Casper, gets the move done, and Casper is down to P3. Dan the Man is under pressure from Matt Tibos. They're side by side going through the Villeneuve chicane. Dan pushes Matt Tibos wide, and Matt Tibos is down the order. Dan the Man, Jack Hickey pushing each other round Tozer. Dan the Man is kind of a cork in the bowl by the looks of it. He's got the whole pack all over his arse.
Yeah, he's absolutely had a terrible restart. Matt Tibos is going to be wanting a word in the paddock after that, and it's dropped him all the way down into 12th place. And I tell you what, Casper's got no pace since the restart. He cannot hold on to the back of Kai on the restart. He needs to get back ahead. No DRS to
Casper's all over. Casper's all over the back of Kai. Kai has been struggling to keep up with Cam, don't you mean?
Yeah, I'm getting the names mixed up. Everyone's got 2 similar names around here.
Yeah, as we see them head round the Ravazza. Casper, of course, no DRS, but he has got a big slide coming out the Ravazza, and Kai just done enough to put a little bit of a gap and probably be out of threat. Or is he heading on the run down to Tamburello? Viva Lamerco is out of this Grand Prix. Is Casper going to make a move into the Tamburello chicane? No, thinks better of it and holds on. Meanwhile, Jack Hickey and Dan the Man are resuming their battle from Bahrain.
Yep, they're battling until the end of the season. 2 great champions of the division. Khan, who is going to come out on top. Dan the Man at the moment has got that battle as the half of Lewis Craig retires. It's looking like it's going to be a Williams 1-2 at the moment, but can Cam hold on and try and get another second on his teammate Kai, who's not had a race win this season. He was very close in the Netherlands to picking up a win, but it wasn't quite enough for him to pick it up in Austria, And can he get it here in Imola in the final round of the season? That gap is 1.6 seconds, and that will be enough with 2 and a bit laps to go.
Will it though? Because he's got 3-second penalty and Kai is behind him. He's going to get at least a podium guaranteed, but is he going to be able to win this race? Kai all with Casper all over the back of him, about half a second behind, kind of calmed down. Meanwhile, further back, Dan the Man is under pressure from Jack Hickey and Jonas on this run. There's 2 laps to go in this race. Cam needs to pull out about another second and a half on this driver's, on Kai behind him, and Casper is closing in on the back of him, but not quite close enough into the run to Tamburello. Jonas potentially making a move into Tamburello on Jack Hickey. No, thinks better of it. 2 more laps to go in this Grand Prix.
Yep, it's all down to Cam now. Can he get that gap to 3 seconds, or he's going to give up the race victory to his teammate Kai? He's been so close this season to picking up a win, but it's not fallen in his favour. He drove a perfect race in Austria, and that demigod softie took it away from him. Is his teammate going to be able to take it away from him here in Imola? It's not looking likely. He cannot seem to get above 1.6 seconds ahead, Cam.
No, you can't. Is there going to be some team orders here from the Williams, or is Kai going to take a victory in the final round of the season, a final race on F1 23? We've got about a lap and a half to go. Casper still close to the back of Kai. He's not going to get him for position in the final results, but he'd like to get him on the road for pride, as he's got the gap over Dan the Man. He's got that 3rd place secured pretty much, so he'll be hoping to try and get Kai on position. Meanwhile, Johners and Jack Hickey scrapping away. That is the battle for P5 and P6. The drivers are starting the final lap of the race, and actually Kai is closing in on Cam.
Yeah, he's getting that gap down ever so slightly, is the second Williams driver, and he's just managing to hold on to Casper behind, to hold on to his P2 at the moment on the track, and he's doing enough. That gap is now a second between the Williams, and it's not looking like it's going to be Cam's night. Another penalty going to cost him another chance to the win, but here comes Casper trying to take P2 on the road, but thinks better of it, not wanting to ruin Kai's race. And Jack Hickey, he's completely fallen away from Daneman in the last lap. Can Johners steal P5 from the McLaren?
Yeah, that is the question indeed. He's still lingering in the background, but he's actually just dropped to about a second and a half back, so I think that one might be all said and done. Casper still lurking in the background, trying to get Kai for position on the road. He's going to finish P3 regardless, thanks to his time penalty, so he'd like to do it for pride. But meanwhile, up the front, Cam, unfortunately, he's put 3 feet wrong in this race, as you would say, as he's got himself 3 warnings for track extending, getting himself a time penalty, which means it's probably going to cost him the race victory. He heads into the Ravazza for the final time. Cam, going into the Ravazza, is less than a second back to his teammate Kai. He's got that 3-second time penalty, so Cam is going to win this race on the road. But Kai is going to be your winner here, and he's actually let his teammate pass, knowing he's got a time penalty, gets the position, and Kai wins the Grand Prix in Imola, wins round 20 of the season. Cam finishes second, Casper in third, Dan the Man in fourth, and Jack Hickey rounding out the top 5. That was kind of sporting from Cam in the end. He knew he was going to lose the position anyway, and he thought, well, it's my teammate behind, I will let him have the win on the road as well.
Well, maybe a parting gift from Cam to let his teammate cross the line first. It was a great result for the Ferraris, though. I do believe that P7 is Dom Smith's best result of the season, and he's saved it till last. 7th for car number 7, and I'm sure Phil will be absolutely hoping for a better teammate in the Constructors' fight next season. But I do wonder if that has allowed Dom to close in on Lewis in that battle they've been having for P13. They've had a wee bit of a Twitter war going on this season. I think Lewis's third place last week was enough to secure P13, but it will be very close, and Dom's P7 might be enough to just edge Lewis. He'll be absolutely gutted if that's true.
Yeah, so just waiting for the last of the finishers to come round before Williams can celebrate their 1-2 result here in Imola at the final round of the season in the wet Imola. Casper gets third, Dan the Man fourth, and Jack Hickey rounding out the top 5.
I actually think that's the first 1-2 we've had this season.
You would know better than me. You've commentated more races than I have this season, so you would be one to ask over that than I would.
I think it is. I think the Williams have, right at the death, have picked up the only 1-2 of the season.
So, here they are celebrating on the podium. Kai picking up the victory here in Imola. Cam in second and Casper in third. The champagne will be flowing at Williams tonight. Darlington Capital will be spending all that capital they have on the champagne, ready to celebrate this 1-2 result for the team. So here are the final results from Imola. Kai is your race victor with Cam in second, a 1-2 for Williams. Casper is in third, Dan the Man in fourth, and Jack Hickey in fifth. Johners finishes sixth. Dom Smith finishes in P7 and Phil Bardrell in P8. Matt Tibbos is ninth. Machine Island in 10th. Chris Johnson 11th. Court in 12th. Wet Levens in 13th. Alistair is the last of the point scorers in 14th. Then we've got Nell Jack in 15th. And then we've got the DNFers of Lewis Craig, Viva Lamerco, Dan Morris, and Softy. 3 retirements from this race, and that is your season 41 season. Any final closing thoughts on these races tonight and this season?
It was a great season to commentate. I've been here all 10 weeks. It's been fun from week 1 to week 10. A huge congratulations to Softy picking up his 7th World Championship. That's all he aimed to do, and he did it in style. Well done to the guys that have been here each and every week, making sure we have at least 19 guys on the grid. And I'm just very excited for F1 24 and to see what TGP1 has to offer up in the next few months when we get going again. And it's been great commentating with yourself and Mike and Luca when he was here. So I'm just hoping that we can get a few good weeks next season.
Yes, that is the case on the new game on F1 24. But that has been your season 41 season. Hopefully you did enjoy it, and we will see you next time out on F1 24. But thank you for watching all 10 weeks of this season, and we will see you very soon. See you on PS4.